welcome to this week's video. I know I haven't been working on the car recently, but I have been doing other things. I've changed the wheel bearing on my son's Fiesta, fixed a wheel bearing for somebody. Also had an issue with my wife's XF Jaguar, the washer pump seized up. Apparently when you start investigating these things it's quite common, but actually it's also the corrosion that works its way up the wire into the top of the wheel arch and then down to the actual body control module, and it actually corrodes the pins there. You know, it's actually the corrosion follows the wire. I experienced something similar when I put some wires out into, you know, some 4-core wire into the garden under the patio while I was building, you know, redoing a patio. Probably took me 6 months to do that. And when I came to put the connections on each end, the outside one definitely was all corroded and black, and you basically had to scrape the corrosion off. But it had gone along the wire and into the garage, and then effectively up the wall and to the other end of the wire. So if that's of interest, talking about that, do a short video on that, I'll do, quite happily do that. Talk about how we can solve that problem. I think we actually need to change the complete wire and put some, I don't know, dielectric grease or something into the plug. But I'll do a bit more research on that. But if anybody's interested in it, then leave a comment and maybe I'll put that together. But now back on to getting this car prepared for spraying. Some of you may remember, if you go back and look at some of the older videos, I use on the driver's side, I've got a different panel here. This panel that I bought this one from a different place than where I bought the other one. And maybe I'm regretting that now somewhat, because I've decided that this side, this curve here, is less, well, there's, it's straighter here. I know I've got filler in here, but even with the metal work here, we've got bare metal there, we've got bare metal there, there doesn't appear to be as much shape as there is on the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a mould in effect from the other side and then bring it over here and compare. Okay, so this is my plan. If we go vertically from the wheel upwards. This is just some cling film. I think it's Serrano wrap or something they call it in the US, but cling film. Basically going to get some cardboard. I did try here initially, but I need more than that. Effectively, I want to go right in, so it's something like that far in, and so I get, so I've got a point up here to work from, a point, this bit here. I'm going to cut the cardboard to do that. And the reason for the cling film was then I'm going to use some of that fiberglass filler that I've got and make an edge, so I'll get a very accurate reading of what we've got here. This, we've got metal here, we've got metal here, there's very little filler in here. You've got metal, metal, metal. So it's pretty close to what the shape, including this panel, is. The original, or the replacement panel and the originals are pretty, are pretty close there. And if you remember, I took a photo, maybe I'll show it up on the screen shortly. I took a photo of my friend's XKR. His is an earlier one, but I can't really tell. This is a build in 2003, sold in 2004, and it had some of the extras like the stick-on sill covers and the rubber bit here. I think they just put the rubber bit here rather than change this shape, because obviously this would need a new body mould, as it were, to make a new one, different shape. So I don't think they did that. It's very hard to tell. I've looked all over the place, done a bit of research. I can't really see that they've changed it. So what we're going to do, cut out the rough edge here, get somewhere close, and then put filler on it with this corrugated cardboard, and come up with a mould to compare to the other side. I do have the front end of the front end of the curve from the panel over the other side, and the original panel here. So I do have that. So I do have that edge, that level of edge. So I could, also just take a bit, do a bit down here, and that's sort of it would be about. It's actually the front because it's from the other side, but I certainly could do that as well. I reckon. Quite a big starting point. Okay, so this is what I've come up with. I've put a mark here and a mark here. Actually, yeah. Put a mark there, used the spirit level to give me a vertical, and then basically cut back. Effectively just using a pen, and have kept on doing this, gradually working your way back so that you actually get a shape that you're happy with. Now obviously that's going to get better and closer using filler. The only reason I put the tape on it is the cling film on it is to stop it mucking up the panel behind, because I don't really want it to do that. I guess I could put some tape on it, but just trying to make sure that this is in the right place. Something like that is probably a bit better, nearer to vertical. I'll check that, and then I'm just going to put some filler in there. This is not for paint, so it's only a mould. Oh, it's a bit of a challenge. A bit more of a challenge than I thought it was going to be. Not sure the cling film's a good idea. Okay, so what I plan on doing this time actually is to put the filler on here and then push that into it, push the cardboard into it. Definitely had a problem last time with it falling off, so don't want that to happen again. So let's build up in the middle here. You also definitely want to get, it's this bit here that's the problem. So let's make sure we've got plenty there. Effectively we're just trying to hold it in place and get the shape, of course. But, a bit of the end here. Right, let's get the this piece. I think it's that way around. So that needs to actually be there. Yeah, that's vertical and in place. Let's move this back up here then, so that's not quite in the right place. Obviously we're not worried about painting over it or anything like that, or air holes, or just trying to get a jig, or just trying to get a pattern. It's definitely got a pinker tone to it because I have put more hardener into it than I normally would.
well, I don't know. I've definitely put more hardener in it than last time.
Okay, it's been an hour or so now, but this is rock hard, so let's see if we can get it off. Okay, it's quite nice. You can see we've got the big curve, and then we'll give it a little less shape, I guess. Question now is, does it look like on the other side? You definitely have a little bit of a gap just here. Not sure whether the camera's picking that up. So this looks good. Here looks good. Actually looks like we need a bit more here. Just about here. And then the rest is fine. So when I'm doing my measurement and going on here and saying, oh look, there's nothing there, it's because this bit here needs some more, we need a bit more here. So let's see what we can do about that. Now obviously up here we haven't changed any of this, so that looks pretty good. If you look about here, you can see there's a slight gap there. At the same time, I have this piece from, this is obviously the original, and it's the driver's side. So I did some very similar, just put some tape on here, and then put, you can see the tape, the other side, put the same filler on, but this time I put a bit more hardener in. Yeah, there is a bit, and we're getting this gap at the top, so maybe it should be there. Yeah, it should go in here more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the concave sanding block I've got and 40 grit and see if we can make that more closer to what it was. Okay, just to summarise the video, using the mould meant I could see the difference between the two sides. Obviously this side was flatter than that side. That side had a nice curve to it, an S shape as it were. And so yeah, that was much better, sort of straight out of the blocks as it were. This side, however, it was certainly at the top here, where you got the top of the haunch of the the arch itself. Complex goes this way, it goes that way, and obviously comes out and goes back in again. Probably about an inch to 2 inches around here. It was too flat. If I look back to when I was putting the replacement panel on here, just to sort of get an idea of the fit, it was definitely, the reason I cut it back a bit was because it was sticking out too far at this point. Maybe that had some bearing on how it worked, but in effect I had to knock this back along the bottom here, push that in, and then I needed to put, if I'm just flatting back this way, I'm taking off the bulge that's here, that should be here, and so putting some filler in to give us that S shape at this point, or the bulge at this point, seemed to solve the problem. So that's it. We're pretty much, we are very, very close to how I'd like it to be. You know, it's not wavy or anything like that, because using the 40 grit, you can get right in there very quick and get rid of, you know, it doesn't follow previous lumps of filler. So definitely coarse grit to start with. I'm going to spray this with primer filler afterwards, and then flat that back using 240, 320, maybe 400, and stop about there from a prep point of view. So yeah, that's where I am. Hopefully some of that information will help you guys. Definitely a recommendation, if you've got a complex area like this, do make up a mould to show you that profile very accurately, because I was struggling here a lot, and it's me comparing both sides and you're going, well, that side's like this side's like that, it's totally different. How, what's going on? And deciding that was the master, as it were, meant I could get this side to look like that side, and we can carry on. If you look at the various different XK8s out there, they do seem to be a little bit more bulkier on the newer cars. From 2004, it's about middle of 2003, I think they changed. But I think part of that is just that, the sort of rubbery plastic trim extension, arch extension that they put on. I don't think they changed the tooling to build new wings. It seems very exorbitant to do that. So yeah, I think we're moving forward. Well, I know we're moving forward. Things are getting closer to how they should be. So yeah, hopefully that helps. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.